What's up, everybody? WiseGuyBets here with some DFS Major League picks for tonight. Today's date is Tuesday, 8/3/2021, and we're looking at the main slate that has 15 games on the slate tonight. Let's get right into it and look at the pitcher position. At pitcher, we're looking at Jin Rya for Toronto. His projection on that is 18.1. His ERA on the season is 3.26. He's pitching around 5.8 innings per game. He's averaging 16 fantasy points out of 20 games this season. His last 3 games has been 25, 5, and 26. He's 8,700 on DraftKings. The Indians is batting .267 against him. I like Jin Rya in this position. His salary's not too high. He's the highest rated pitcher on the slate, and I really like him tonight in home against Cleveland. Toronto's very good, and everybody's still very focused, even though it's late in the season. And I like Jin Rya tonight in this position. So he's definitely someone I want to get into my lineups tonight at the pitcher position. Let's look at the catcher position. At catcher, I'm looking at Jin Gomes for Oakland. His projection on that is 7.2 fantasy points. He has 10 homers on the season. He's batting .274. He's getting around 3.5 at-bats per game. He's averaging seven fantasy points throughout the season. His last 3 games fantasy point-wise has been 0, 19, 21. His salary is $2,000. I really like that. He's 3 for 8 against the pitcher he's facing, batting .375 with 1 single, 2 doubles. His last 5 against San Diego is 3, 4, 17, 12, 7. If he just gets a projection of 7.2 tonight, I'm happy with that based on his salary. I would rather pay this and hope to get, his projection than to pay up when I don't really see where we're going to get what we're paying up for. So I'm going to go with Jin Gomes tonight at the catcher position. Let's look at the first base position. At first base, I'm looking at Freddy Freeman for Atlanta. His projection on that is 9.5 fantasy points. He has 23 homers on the season. He's batting .289. He's getting around 3.7 at-bats per game. He's averaging 9 fantasy points throughout the season. His last 3 games fantasy point-wise is 13, 8, and 3. It's 5,000 on DraftKings. He's batting 7 for 28 against the pitcher he's facing. 4 singles, 1 triple, 2 home runs. So he's made good contact against this pitcher. He's definitely someone I want to try to get into my lineups tonight. His last 5 against St. Louis is 0, 8, 8, 12, and 10. I'd like him to get double-digit fantasy points tonight. He already has a projection of 9.5, but I think he can exceed that. Maybe 14 to 17 fantasy points that I see from Mr. Freeman tonight. Let's look at the second base position. At second base, I'm looking at Albies for Atlanta, another player from this Atlanta-St. Louis game. His projection on that is 8.4 fantasy points. He has 17 homers on the season. He's batting .265. He's getting around 3.9 at-bats per game. He's averaging 9 fantasy points over 104 games. His last 3 games fantasy point-wise is 10, 6, and 5. He's 4,700 on DraftKings. What I really like, he's batting 8 for 12 against this pitcher. He's batting .667, 7 singles, 1 home run. He's obviously has his pitcher's number, and Albies is someone I would definitely have in my lineup tonight, cash or tournament. He's batting leadoff with an 8.5 under run projection. Say he will get 5 at bats if things go the way it's supposed to. I like him in his position tonight. His last 5 against St. Louis is 18, 3, 12, 30, and 8. Mr. Albies is going into my lineups tonight at the second base position. Let's look at the third base position. At third base, I'm looking at Bohm for Philadelphia. His projection for tonight is 7.8 fantasy points. He has 7 homers on the season. He's batting .254. He's getting around 3.5 at-bats per game. He's averaging 6 fantasy points throughout the season. His last 3 games fantasy point-wise is 5, 14, and 8. He's 4,100 on DraftKings. He's 4 for 10 against the pitcher he's facing. 2 singles, 2 home runs. I like that in a limited sample size. He's obviously making great contact against the pitcher he's facing tonight. His last 5 against Washington has been 22, 0, 0, 0, and 8. So based on his success rate against the pitcher he's facing, he's going into my lineups tonight. So Alec Bohm is someone I want to get into my lineups tonight at the third base position. Let's look at the shortstop position. At shortstop, I'm looking at Carrera for Houston. His projection on that is 7.4 fantasy points. He has 16 homers on the season. He's batting .271. He's getting around 3.7 at-bats per game. He's averaging 8 fantasy points over 97 games during the season. His last 3 games have been 11, 0, and 3. He's 3,700 on DraftKings. He's 2 for 2 against the pitcher he's facing. 1 single, 1 home run. Limited sample size, but he has had success. I like his salary at 3,700. I like the over-under run projection 8.5, 4 to 5 at-bats. If everything go accordingly. And I like his last 5 against the Dodgers: 10, 7, 0, 3, and 19. Mr. Carrera is someone I definitely want to try to get into my lineup tonight at the shortstop position. Let's look at the outfield position. And the outfield, I'm looking at Nelson Cruz. His projection on that is 9.6 fantasy points. He has 21 homers on the season. He's batting .285. He's getting around 3.5 at-bats per game. His last 3 games, fantasy point-wise, has been 2, 3, and 6. He does average 8 fantasy points in 94 games. His salary is $5,400. If you play him, he's a core play. I really like he's 4 for 5 against the pitcher he's facing. 2 singles, 2 home runs, batting .800. Limited sample size, but obviously Mr. Cruz has this guy's numbers and it's making great contact. Mr. Cruz is a core play for me, so he's a lock in my lineups. His last 5 against Seattle is 11, 3, 18, and 6. So he's playing very well. This is his old team. He always plays his old team very well. Even when he was with Minnesota, he played Seattle very well. So those are my picks for tonight. If my picks help you, go ahead and hit that like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. The more likes I get, the more eyes on these videos, the more I can produce. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It will be greatly appreciated so you can know when new videos are posted. And it just helps me out a whole lot when I get new subscribers. So until the next video, peace.